So in starting, I'm Judith and John. We're going to work together and talk about what has been keeping us busy in teaching and learning. Whilst this is a promoting excellence initiative and network, most people are talking about OLT processes and grants. Our university is not as advanced as other universities. All our energies have been put into the curriculum redesign that we have been doing and the fallout from it. So start with it. The biggest project that has been done at La Trobe University is the curriculum review, renewal, and redesign. And to do that, the main thing they're doing, and it's called Design for Learning, so they're designing the whole of undergraduate curriculum to show academic performance and academic learning as such. So they are embedding graduate capabilities. Now, I know a lot of universities have already done that. La Trobe is doing it now. So we're up there now. We are embedding all our graduate capabilities, but where La Trobe differs from all the other universities is that we are going to assess all those graduate capabilities and report it to the students, so that at any time during the student's life within a course, they will be assessed at cornerstone, capstone, midpoint, and capstone levels. So at 3 times in their journey through their course, they will be assessed on the graduate capabilities and reported as such within the results as such. And that the process puts in a transparent assessment of students' performance and achievement of graduate capability. And in doing that, the graduate capabilities are at faculty level and not embedded within different courses as this course will develop this, this graduate capability. What it is the capabilities are identified at the faculty level, and then every course will develop all those graduate capabilities, but they will state where they'll only introduce it, where they will develop it, and where they will assess it. So basically it aligns it in that way. And a lot of the work must be mine. And what is great about it is that there's no, I have to put my client for service. All the graduate capabilities have standards developed, and the faculties and the disciplines have agreed on the standards so that it becomes a combined effort within the faculty that says what the standards are, and they're assessed as whether the student has met it, has not met it, or has exceeded it. Because research has shown that students who have really good capabilities when they come into universities, in some courses, they lose those capabilities. So if, from high school, they could have really good writing skills, but they're doing a course of studies at the university where the writing skills are lost, basically. So that is where we're going. Next one. So in looking at what the graduate capabilities are, there are 6 that every faculty, every course within the university has to do, which is the dark brown one, there's 6 of them. Then the disciplines can add other ones. So for example, health sciences have added 3 more that they would do. And you would say communication is writing and speaking, but in health, therapeutic communication is a big thing. So then they have also then added communication where they focus on therapeutic communication as such. And so in the whole, education only has those 6 that are the university-wide ones, and there's some, all the other faculties have nominated the extra ones. Next one. So then in curriculum mapping and going backwards from year 3 or 4 to year 2 and year 1, every student knows where the pathway is for developing that capability and where they will be assessed. So for example, in year 1, in their major core, they will have teamwork assessed. And then year 2, it will be assessed again in major 1 as such. So in looking at the course, every student will be given that at the beginning when they enroll into a course. So they know where they will be taught, but more importantly, where it will be assessed to be recorded in their records as such. So the next one. Then looking at the standards and what the standards were in it being developed, if you could point out to the top there. In developing the standards, this is science, engineering, and technology, who were the people I was working with. They looked at, one of the additional ones was quantitative literacy, which is really numeracy, calculations, and stats, basically, because a lot of students came in and struggled with the maths part of their course, computer science students, engineering students, and even physics, biology, chemistry group as well. So in doing their standards, they looked at what were the key elements of it, and the first 2 lines tell you what the key elements that will be assessed if they are looking at it. So if you're looking at qualitative literacy application, those are the sort of things we are going to assess in students' learning. And if you're looking at the interpretation of quantitative literacy, we're looking at accuracy and meaning of how they have done their calculus, basically. And so then they are whether standards are met, not met, or exceeded at first year, second year, and third year level, basically. And it's the third year level that will have the focus to make sure, if you go back to the map, the first year and second year gives them room to have enabling and enriching courses. And it's the final one that we are saying that they must meet it to exceeding standard to be saying that they have got those capabilities as such. So when it is enabling and enrichment is, if the students are really good, then they may need to have other challenges given to them, more than just the basic level as such. But if they are not good or struggling, then you have to have programs that enable them to achieve academic success. So the 2 programs of enriching and enabling are things that are being put in every program or every course so that the students can achieve it. So the next one. So this is just showing in writing, just to say that it can be how the staff have developed it is up to the faculty. And so say if you are doing writing, then when the students get the results and it says the standards are met, these standards will also be with the assessment rubric. And so the students can see how they have met it in terms of the assessment. And the next one. The last one is just showing the written communication and how the rubrics were developed as such. This is what the academics were given to come up with the rubrics, and the 2 that I showed you earlier were science and engineering and technology ones, because I worked with them, so had it ready to show as such. And so that has been our main focus on curriculum renewal. And we're now into this year, we will work on the 3rd year, which is the capstone area of development. And so falling out from this renewal is the new work that is being done, which is the online, what we call FOLD, which is flexible online learning development that is happening, and John will tell you more about that. So most of the years, like first year and second year, which has been completed, those academics are now embarking on what John is going to talk about. And some academics are still working on year 3 and year 4 subjects, doing what I have talked about, basically.
Okay. So it's 3. So we've had, this is the curriculum review, is the Design for Learning project, and this is the 3rd year, I think, and tall buildings will go up in the city before it's completed. These are big projects. And it's a top-down one, and so with a sort of changing context, so I'll just go back. Yeah, the fold, no, that's right. Fold means flexible online development, and it's actually a structural entity within the Curriculum Teaching and Learning Centre, which is our central academic development centre. So it's come out of a kind of response to a few things, one of them being the Design for Learning curriculum review. And I just wanted to kind of just trace through. I think it's worth having an understanding what it is, and to do that I need to kind of show how it sort of emerged in a sense. So let's continue. So it's called projects, but it's really become a structural part of a university-wide undertaking, which is really a project approach to flexible learning. Flexible learning, we kind of know what it is. We haven't got an official definition yet, but it's something between flexible as in a structural way of structuring learning and modes of learning, and looking at the learning environment and the activities that happen in there as well, which is kind of the emphasis I want to bring to it. What's the next one? Yeah, so the question about the whole curriculum review is, where does flexible learning fit into that? And partly, Trobe has not traditionally seen itself as a flexible learning university or a distance learning or any of that kind of thing. It's really mainly face-to-face, sees itself as face-to-face with some blended learning. You do get sort of fully online courses and subjects, as we call them, at postgrad level, but it's really kind of a blended learning face-to-face university. And Trobe being the tradition of innovative research universities that were built in about 1965, it's generally based on this sort of old-fashioned arts degrees, science degrees, that kind of stuff, and it has a strong disciplinary autonomy, which doesn't lend itself to flexible learning conversation necessarily. But with the new environment, we've got issues of sustainability that arise in particular because of the multi-campus teaching environment. So we've got 5 campuses, but one in Melbourne, which is most of the students, and actually the multi-campus teaching means teaching a subject once at 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5 campuses at the same time. We call it different instances of the same subject. So there aren't resources to duplicate lectures or get them to do the lectures again or get them to travel, not anymore. So really flexible learning is on the map because we've got to come up with ways to do this in a way that is sustainable, or rather within the resources available. Yeah, so that last one example, let's go back one. That's an example of a subject called Introduction to Sociology, which has got over 1,000 students and is taught at both campuses at the same time. And up to now they've been working with disciplinary tutors on each campus who have enough disciplinary knowledge to remediate lectures or kind of present a mini lecture that's been recorded. So they've come up with a mode of using podcasts, so to speak, to become part of an interactive long lecture tutorial. So it's a very localised, a particular solution they've come up for their subject. And So the first factor is the curriculum review, the second is multi-campus teaching, and the third factor is we've had a new LMS which was implemented last year. And now there's a lot of stuff about implementation of big technologies. In this case, they decided to do this strictly on a functional basis. We wanted to so-called migrate 1,300 subjects in semester 1 from Blackboard to Moodle with a minimal upset. Terribly worried about the technology falling down after their experiences with Blackboard, so that they just wanted it to work. They wanted minimal demand on staff for training, so it's a very low threshold. Let's go to the next one. A sort of functional migration, short time frame, low threshold for engagement, but maximum reach. And they kind of achieved that. And for me, who's an enthusiast about Moodle, I was kind of a little bit disappointed that Moodle was like Blackboard. You know, I think it can be very different, but it was just an LMS. And what were negative experiences with the previous LMS was sort of transferred onto this one, and we got a very transmissive approaches to using the LMS that were just carried over. So that kind of created the environment or the opportunity for FOL to think, okay, how can we actually look at it differently?
Can you just explain, what does low threshold for engagement teaching, what does that mean?
Well, in changing to a new LMS, there was a lot of sort of anticipation that, oh my God, we've got to learn new technology, we've got to do all this and that. So they wanted to minimise what that would involve. So there would be one basic Moodle Basics training session that we've got half the staff to come along.
And it's part of the massive change that's happening and having engaged in the design for learning, which then they thought the curriculum change was completed, and now they've got to do something more, which is the online learning.
Yeah, so
it meant not maximising the functionality of the new learning management system.
So in a sense, people were encouraged to hold off curriculum development where it involved technologies and just, get this going, get the subjects up and running, and then we'll worry about flexible learning later. So that was, so FOLD comes in after that, late last year, with, we were lucky enough to get Claire Macken into, she was appointed as head of that project, and she does just fantastic PowerPoints, I could never compete. So it's an opportunity there for bringing a flexible learning design approach to curriculum review, whereas the curriculum review, DFL, was top-down across the university. This project approach is actually dedicated to looking at situated maybe 4 or 5 or half a dozen kind of models of effective flexible learning that will work, that we can get data on, that we can put together, that will work in a multi-campus teaching environment. So we want to sort of find things that are scalable, fit for purpose, and then can be replicated. So that's that project approach. And it's also bottom-up, and so the way we've presented it, although we're running it from the centre, we've set conditions like projects need to be faculty owned, they need to be collaborative, not just one person, one subject, they need to have a team of academics working on them, they need to be supported from their faculty, they need to be strategic, so there's a limited number of them, looking long term, and we're supported by the resources of the university. And the way it works initially is based on the course design intensives from Oxford Brookes, which is a day or a day and a half long intensive with a follow-up where people really get together and work through it. And we're lucky enough to have Judy, who used to work at Oxford Brookes and has experienced this course design process. wasn't necessarily about flexible learning, but we had some experience with what was involved and how it would work. So it's early days. We've only been doing it since last September, but we've had some indications of real success and engagement with this approach. And for everyone, it's a big relief from top down, sort of, this is what we're doing. So I can put some information up on the our PEI website about this approach and where it comes from. So just quickly to give some examples. So the first one is the really relevant one of all projects. Two examples. One is a new Bachelor of Strategic Communication, and that really works very much in terms of the intents of the writing curriculum and bringing new people into new subjects and working out all of these sort of how this new subject would work. This crosses faculties, a bit of PR, a bit of journalism and media studies. So breaking those internal silos or internal divisions was the main work there. And whereas this one, by contrast, is we actually, on that intensive day, people put together a Moodle site that became a professional development subject for clinical staff in physiotherapy. So they actually built something that would become part of their own process in the faculty. I think it's quite good. So it's a bit swift, but the basic idea is that the fold approach complements the top-down approach.